IRCC has done it again. It was unbelievable. I just couldn't. I was in the middle of a consultation this afternoon when I saw the update trigger in my computer system, and I'm like, "What is this?" And I obviously scared the guy who I was talking to. So apologies to that person if you are still watching. But hey, everybody, congratulations to everybody, not just the people who have received their invitation. We'll talk about that in a minute, but to everybody, because this sort of is a joyous moment for everybody included, who are all aspirants for Canadian immigration express entry through the pathway of express entry, because it's suddenly looking anything is possible. What am I talking about? Welcome to the channel. My name is Kubeir. I'm a CICC licensed immigration consultant. I talk about Canadian immigration news, updates, things you should do, things you should not. Today, we're talking about very, very quickly, again, within a span of less than 7 days, 6 weeks, another express entry draw. Incredible is I think it just completely does not do justice to this, because IRCC has created history. And why have they created history? Because they conducted another triple back-to-back draw, and this time inviting again 7,000 people with a lowest score of 481. Now, under normal circumstances, it's not a big deal. 481 should have gotten invited anyways. But it is a big deal because since last year, July 6th, 481 looked like, I wouldn't have given it a chance, to be very honest. I was so skeptical. For a change, I started questioning the forever hopeful tagline and everything. Is it really forever hopeful? But hey, you know what? IRCC has outdone themselves. I don't know how much to sort of talk positively about them for a change, because yeah, they have just outdone themselves. So you know what? Let's quickly get to this before I jump out of the chair again. And this was the express entry triple draw. And the reason why I'm saying triple draw, because this has happened back to back and in a span of just 2 weeks. In a span of 2 weeks. And the reason why I'm saying 2 weeks is because the first one was on the 15th of March. The second one on the 23rd of March. The third one happened today, 29th of March. So span of 2 weeks, 14 days, they have now conducted 3 express entry draws. Total invitations of 21,000. Unprecedented, the number of invitations, not the express entry draws itself, because that has happened before. So let's get on with this. Yes, express entry triple draw. Very quickly, the details. Draw number 245, 29th of March, which is today, 9th draw of 2023, 9th all program draw, and there was some PNP draw as well. But this was an all program draw. 481 is the lowest CRS score. Total number of invitations issued is 7,000. The tiebreaker applies only to 481, and that is the date of the 14th of February, 2023. I apologize, earlier in my video, I was so excited, I actually said Jan, and I know I gave a bit of a panic attacks to a few people, but the actual tiebreaker is 14th of February. It applies only to the score of 481. So if your score is 481 and you created a profile after 14th February 0735 UTC, then you were not included in this draw. Everybody before this time who have created their profiles with a score of 481 was included. Anybody more than 481, you are automatically part of this draw. So there is nothing for you to be concerned about. That is the official announcement on the IRCC page, IRCC website. As you can see in blue, all program draw candidates from federal skilled worker, Canadian experience class, federal skilled trade, provincial nominee were all eligible for this round of invitations. Now, the good thing is that this draw was actually conducted quite early in the morning. You see a time, it says March 29, 2023, 1344 UTC, which basically is 9:44 in the morning. This draw was conducted. And if it was conducted at 9:44, they still announced or published it much later in the day, something like about 1 o'clock, 1:30. That's when the draw came out, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So almost 3.5 hours later. Sometimes mysteries of IRCC, you do not understand why they take so much of time, but we got to know about it, and that was the great thing. Now, very quickly, the pool breakdown, the pool distribution is as of the March 29th. This score breakdown or the pool breakdown is before the draw has been conducted. It's a no-brainer because you can make out 6,859 in the pool at 481 to 490, so you know that is. But the good thing is the number of people who got added with scores of 491 and above was only 1,103. between 601 and 1200, which is the nominees, which is the provincial nominee, people who have 600 points for provincial nominee, only 261. People with score of 501 to 600, these numbers are not dropping, they are more realistic, only 468. Between 491 to 500, only 374. And you can see I'm stressing upon the word only, and only because of the reason being, these are good numbers. These are smaller numbers, but then also you have to take into consideration that it has only been 6 days since the last draw. The last draw was Thursday last week. We are on Wednesday this week. So it's only been 6 days, and therefore the number of people in the pool is only 1103 with scores of 491 and above, which of course in this whole equation is a good thing. Why? Because as I spoke about in the video this morning also, that even if they are to conduct a draw of 7,000, which they did thankfully, the scores will not drop below 481 because of the number of people in the profile in the pool. So at this morning there were 6,859 people in the pool, and of this 5,897 are now cleared because they've all received invitations with 481 to 490, and therefore 962 are remaining in the pool. Now, if I very quickly show you the last week's breakdown, 6,289 remained in the pool between 481 to 490, okay, after the last week's draw. If 6,289 remained last week, and now 6,859 were there this week, which basically tells you 600 people got added into the express entry pool with the scores of 481 to 490. 600 being the largest in this additions, but those additions came between 481 to 490. The reason it is important to talk about these numbers is so that we can have an understanding of what is to come further in future and how we make our forecasts and predictions. But understanding that between 481 to 490 was 600, 491 to 500 was 374, 501 to 600 was 468, and 601 above is 261, gives you an indication of what to look forward to. Now, if I move further away very quickly, as of March, not 15th, I think we didn't edit that, as of March 29th, as of today, the total number of profiles that remain in express entry pool with score of 481 plus is now 962, of course. The draw increase with the profiles between 491 and above, 1,103 profiles, not a no-brainer there again. Now, what happens from here on? Will IRCC create history? I mean, we are already on the cusp of history, right? Will they create history and conduct one more draw? Now, that is something which will I think I'll blow up from the roof if that happens, but that hasn't happened before. That is unprecedented. Never ever has it happened before. And if that happens, that would be spectacular to say the least. But let's be a skeptic here and say, henceforth, we will go back to the regular express entry draws. So if that happens, I anticipate that the next draw would be on the 12th of March. So now you are giving 2 weeks regular gap, and you go back to the regular programming, regular way of life. With 2 weeks gap, you will anticipate roughly 2,500 people in the pool with score of 491 and above. And if 600 people got added between 481 to 490 in this last 6 days, then you can anticipate roughly a same number over the next 2 weeks. So let's say 1,000 people, approximately more. So that basically tells you that if there is a 2 week gap now from here on, approximately between 3,000 to 3,500 people will get added into the pool with score of 481. This is not me. This is the numbers talking based on the past data, past trends. Why it is important to understand that is because that will give you a realistic expectation of what to look forward to. Obviously, if IRCC again does another spectacular action of conducting another draw of 7,000, whether it's next week or even 2 weeks later, that of course will, as I said, definitely break the barrier and bring the scores below 480, which probably 479. But if we go back to, as I said, the regular draws, regular programming, then you're looking at roughly 3,500 invitations being issued. And why I'm saying 3,500? Because you see these 7,000 invitations being issued, they all seem to be double I mean, the last express entry draw, which happened in February, which was a federal skilled worker draw, was also about 3,500, give or take. I don't remember the exact number there. But from there on, had IRCC continued with the draws, we by now would have done roughly 4 to 5 draws. But IRCC has gone one step further and conducted an additional one. And therefore, combining the two draws, 3,500, making it into 7,000. Therefore, my projection or my anticipation or expectation of 3,500 kind of a draw going forward, 2 weeks from now, 3,500 kind of a draw, it's not going to be a very big drop. The scores are going to be remaining at 481, 480, 481, probably might even go up by a point or two. So in order for the scores to drop below 480, either the draw has to happen sooner, or the number of invitations have to have more, or the number of people who get added into the pool, that number has to be less. That's not me saying, that is the mathematics which is saying that this is how the scores will go below 480. Not otherwise, you would see a similar score, 481, 480, probably even 482 for that matter. But this is what the numbers are talking. This is what the numbers are saying. But let's look further. Future trends. The number of invitations already that have been issued this year in 2023 is 37,559. Average invitations for 2023, in my opinion, that is what I expect. That these are the number of invitations that will be issued throughout this year. Total 70,000. If I expect 70,000 invitations to be issued this year, well, IRCC has already finished more than 50% of that, which either means two things: that my anticipation for the average number of ITAs for this year is incorrect, which basically means IRCC is going to issue much more than that. But then the numbers don't add up for the next year, for this year, then the numbers don't add up. So I'm not sure what exactly is being planned, but let's say on the optimistic side that indeed IRCC is planning to issue more invitations. That further tells you that at some point of time, invitation numbers per draw will have to drop. They cannot continue. It's not technically possible. It's not mathematically possible. It's not realistically possible for them to continue with such large draws throughout the year. It's just not going to happen. We only have a quota of 485,000 immigrants for this year, of which less than 200,000 comes from economic programs like federal high skilled and PNPs. And a lot of PNPs, to be very honest, are non-express entry. Therefore, the quota for 2023 is 82,880. About 20 to 25,000 will be PNPs. So a total is only 110,000 roughly, give or take, or whatever. The candidates in the express entry pool, the total number of people in the pool at this point of time are 234,947, which actually is a drop of almost 5,000 from the last week. So it seems like new profiles were not created at all. 5,000 less profiles got created. So people's profiles got ineligible. People have their profiles ineligible because their IELTS scores expired, their WEST scores, the WEST reports expired, or they basically became ineligible, or their profiles expired and they didn't renew it. But 5,000 less profiles, that's a lot of profiles. Now, will these profiles come back? Will these people come back now that they're all excited? I don't know. But this 5,000 drop is a bit of a question mark as to what happened here. But something to keep our eyes on. Now, Bill C-19. Now, I know a lot of us have been thinking, have been wondering, have been worrying about Bill C-19. Earlier, the expectation was that the Bill C-19 would be applied or would get implemented by spring this year, because that is how it was projected earlier by their report. But it seems like Sean Fraser has said it on multiple occasions now, and I have a couple of clips to play, but I'll just play one. I don't want to sort of bore you with those clips, where he has said that the Bill C-19 implementation will only happen later this year. Now, later this year or second half of the year, as we can assume, could mean anywhere in June, July, August, September, wherever, which basically means express entry draws in its current format should continue. That is the expectation. But let's hear it from him.
That later this year, we intend to deploy a new tool for the first time, which is going to turn a very powerful express entry system, which operates as a very powerful but blunt instrument, into a more precise tool through a category-based selection mechanism that will allow us to select people through that system by leveraging the score that they receive to identify the best and brightest, but defining the pool of people by sector and by region.
So there you go. That's what he said. Second half of the year, later this year. So Bill C-19 is not happening at this point of time. It will only happen after a few weeks or months. There is a lot of work to be done, again, from the horse's mouth. So with Bill C-19 out of the picture, what else have we got? We have some fun facts, all right? And the fun facts are, the last time the triple back-to-back draw happened, that was in the month of, it was in 2017, April 5, April 12, April 19. 3 weeks, back-to-back draw, triple back-to-back. Number of invitations issued were 3,800 average, and the scores went down from 415 to 435. Only the second time in the history of Express Entry, they have now done a triple back-to-back draw again this year, almost after a gap of 6 years. March again, 15th March, 23rd March, 29th March, span of 2 weeks only, they have issued 21,000 invitations. Now, I do not know what the gap is going to be. Historically, as we have seen some of the previous draws, whenever they have done these kind of back-to-back, then the gap has been anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 weeks. So the draw could be now held only 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, unless IRCC does a quadruple call. Okay, I'm sort of lisping in my mouth now. Quadruple draw. Okay, if that happens, we have 4. Now that would be an amazing, incredible, spectacular one, right? If that was to happen. So let's see if that happens. 4th back-to-back draw. But another fun fact is 2015, that is when the Express Entry system started. In the month of March 20th, 2015, the score was 481. But look at the number of invitations. Only 1,620. Only. And this year, after only getting 21,000 invitations, has the score dropped to 481. Isn't that incredible? It gives you the variation that has happened from 2015 until now, almost 8 years later, and we are still in the month of March. The score is 481. Invitations then 1620, invitations now 21,000 for the score to come to 481. But if you look at the other scores there, March 27th, which is a back-to-back draw, 453, and then the scores went up. You see, even then there was a lot of variations or variance in the scores. Scores were fluctuating, scores were dropping, scores were increasing, but at that point of time, the number of people in the pool were also quite less. And that's how the game was played. But again, it is spectacular. It's amazing that people have received invitations after waiting for such a long time. But also, you know what? Why is it so special? Why is today's draw so special? One more reason. For the first time in the last, what is it now? 7 plus 3, almost 9 months, ever since the draws have resumed, for the first time, a genuine, specific federal skilled worker candidate is eligible in Express Entry. Now, when I'm saying genuine, it's not genuine, it's like typical. For example, a 29-year-old individual, single, with master's degree, CLB 10, and 3 years of work experience will score 481. And that is a federal skilled worker candidate who is now eligible, would have qualified, would have gotten invited today, and that makes it so much more special. So from here on, all federal skilled workers have a chance depending on what their scores is going to be, and this is what makes it even so much better. So therefore, a federal skilled worker candidate who does not have any connection with Canada in any manner, no sibling, no bilingual, no job offer, no education, no work experience, finally that candidate has also gotten a chance. This is what makes it even much more special than in other draws. So congratulations to everybody who received an ITA in today's draw. This was just great. Before I scoot off, and I will scoot off obviously, we are arranging a masterclass, and this is for people who have received an invitation. And this time it will be me who will be hosting this. This is happening on the 16th of April in our office in person. You're more than welcome to go to this link and register if you are. We have very, very few slots. We will not open it to a big crowd because we want to sort of justify anybody and everybody who does come there. And therefore, if you are interested, you have received your invitation, you want to handle the application yourself, you don't need a consultant, you don't need a lawyer, and you're confused if you don't understand your documents, join this masterclass. I will take you through the whole application, step by step, show you what needs to be done, show you how it needs to be done, what kind of documents, how you do it, and therefore make for one special and specific and a good, strong application. And that's how you get it done. That's basically all that I have. Okay, take a couple of comments before we get on with it. Your website is down. I need to book an appointment. I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure if my website is down. I will have to sort of check with our IT guys and see what's happening. But yeah, just to try later on. If not, then please do drop an email to this email address, support@askkubeir.com. Someone there should be able to help you and guide you and sort this out. Okay, there was one more comment I was looking to, yeah, this one. Marzonius, the nightmare is finally over. Now I can finally live my life without a ticking time bomb threatening my existing. This is Maz Atta signing off. Well, congratulations that you finally received your ITA. I'm so glad. It's not only you. There are so many of you out there who have been stressing, absolutely been on tenterhooks all this while, waiting for an ITA. And I'm sure this has come as such a relief for so many of you out there, not only you, for your families as well. But only one small word of caution for everybody out there. Congratulations if you have received your ITA, first of all. But one thing that you need to do, and that is be diligent when you're submitting your application. You have 60 days. 60 days is not a very long time. It sort of goes away like this. If you haven't applied for your PCCs, that is the first thing you need to get done. Get your PCCs in order. Express entry application is not difficult at all. It's only us who make it complicated by stressing over so many things, by talking to our friends and taking their advice, by listening to some people who have done the application themselves and taking their assumptions of how it should be handled. Don't do that. If you are concerned, if you are confused, if you are really in a mess of understanding, then book a consultation. Or come back to our Facebook groups, post a question. A lot of other members who have experience, who have gone through the process will be able to help you. And if it is wrong, then we will tell you it's wrong. But don't let the opportunity go. Don't be in a haste. Review, research, go through your documents. Even if everything is ready, sleep over it. Sleep over it one more night. Go through your documentation again. Have somebody else go through your application. Have a second pair of eyes. Let third person look at your application without any preconceived notions, and let them come back to you with, if there were any issues. Sometimes we are so familiar with our documents that we are looking at them, but we are not realizing if there is a mistake in them. So have somebody else, because with this inconsistency that IRCC has shown us, so many times start, stop, and then suddenly, kaboom, 21,000 invitations. But they are inconsistent, right? We know that. And the uncertainty that looms over this whole process. How many people will get added? When will the next express entry draw happen? How many invitations will get issued? Will the Bill C-19 happen or not? With all these uncertainties, it would be an absolute torture if you let go of this opportunity, or for whatever small reason, if your application gets rejected at our end. So make sure you submit a good application. Make sure you submit a successful application. From my side, I wish you all the very best, all positivity, all positive energies, and hopes and good wishes coming to you. This is me signing off. Thank you so much for joining in. Good night and take care. Hey, and congratulations again.